Hello students, in the last session we have discussed expressions in Java. In today's session we will discuss control structures in Java. So let's start. A Java program is a set of statements which are normally executed sequentially in order in which they appear in the program. If you look at a Java program, the statements are written in sequence and these statements are generally executed in sequence one by one. And this happens when options or repetitions of certain calculations are not necessary. However, in practice, we have a number of situations where we may have to change the order of execution of statements based on certain conditions, or even repeat a group of statements until certain specified conditions are met. This involves a kind of decision making to see whether a particular condition has occurred or not, and then direct the computer to execute certain statements accordingly. In Java, the control structure is divided into three parts, and these three parts are selection statement, iteration statement, and jumps in statement. So in today's session we will discuss the selection statement in Java. So selection statement is also called as decision making statements because it provides decision making capabilities to the statements. In Java we have two different kinds of decision making statements. These are if statement and switch statement. You might have already studied if and switch statements. So first we'll discuss if statement. If statement, again there are different forms of if statements available. We have simple if, we have if else, we have if Elsif Ladder. So there are different forms of if statement which can be used. Let us look at the simple if statement first. So simple if statement, so this is the syntax of simple if statement. We have if condition. Again, condition is formed generally by using relational operator or logical operators. So this condition evaluates to a boolean value true or false. Now if this condition is true, we have a block of statement included inside flower bracket open and flower bracket close, and we have statement block. Any number of statement can be included here. If the condition is true, this particular block is executed. This block is executed. And if the condition is false, if it is false, this block will not be executed. Directly it goes to statement X. So this is simple if, and the statement block is only executed when the condition is true. Otherwise the statement block is not executed. For example, I may say if A is greater than B, inside this block I may say, inside flower bracket open and close, I may print A is largest, something like. So we have only one block, that is true block in simple if, and this block is only executed when the conditional statement is true. Okay, that is about simple if statement. As I've told you, there are different forms of if statement. The second form of if statement, it is if else statement. Again, if else statement, you can say it is two-way decision making statement. Two-way in the sense, if it is true, one block is executed, and if it is false, the another block is executed. Now look at the syntax here. If condition, this is a true block, means when the condition is true, this particular block is executed, and we have one more part, that is else block. So again, flower bracket open and flower bracket close for else block, and we have the statements which are executed when the condition is false. When this condition is false, it will go to the else block, and the statements included inside the else block are executed, and then the control goes to statement A. Now one thing to remember is statement A is always executed, whether the condition is true or false doesn't matter, it goes to statement A after executing either true or false block. Now one more thing to remember here, if you look at the flower brackets here, so if condition, the true block has separate flower bracket open and close, else block has separate flower bracket open and close. I have seen many students making mistake that they include else inside the ifs flower bracket, that is inside the true block, and that is wrong. Else should be included outside the true block, so the flower bracket has to be closed, and then else has to be included, and it has its own flower bracket open and close. Okay, so this is if else. In pictorial form, the same has been represented, the flowchart form. We have condition, and this is true block, and this is false block. If condition is true, true block is executed and it goes to statement A. If it is false, false block is executed and it goes to statement A. Okay, there is one assignment for you. You have to write a program to check whether the number is positive or negative by using if else statement. So write this program and send it to me on WhatsApp. Next form of if statement, it is nested if statement. Nested if else statement simply means if inside if. So if you include one if condition inside another if condition, you can say it is nested if or if else statement. Look at the syntax. We have if condition 1. Now if this is true, inside the flower bracket open and close, we have one more if condition, if condition 2, and if this condition 2 is true, it has its own true block, that is flower bracket open and close, and statement block 1 is executed. If the first condition is true and the second is false, it will go to the else block of second condition, and it has the statement block 2 which are executed. And if the first condition itself is false, this particular part is not executed, it will directly go to the else part, and the statements which have been included in the else block, the statement block 3 is executed, and then it goes to statement 4. Statement 4 is always executed, it is outside the if else statement. The similar is demonstrated by using a flowchart. We have condition 1. If condition 1 is true, inside the condition 1 we have one more condition, that is condition 2. And if this condition 2 is also true, the statement block 1 is executed. If the condition 2 is false, it will go to statement block 2. If the first condition itself is false, it will execute statement block 3 and it goes to statement 4. So this is nested or nesting of if else statement. Then we have one more form which is called as Elsif Ladder. That simply means in every false block include again one more condition, that is Elsif Ladder. Look at the syntax of Elsif Ladder. We have if condition 1, if it is true, we have statement block 1 which is executed. If the condition 1 is false, it will go to else, and in else we have included one more if condition. That is why it is called as else if. Else if condition block 2. If condition block 2 is true, then statement 2 is executed. Otherwise, again it goes to the else block, else if condition 3 is evaluated. Like this, any number of else if statements can be included. When you want a multi-way decision making statement, then you can go for Elsif ladder. If this is not true, then you go for another condition. You may check for another possibility. If even that possibility is not true, then you can go for one more possibility. Like this, you can include any number of else if statements. And else if condition n. And lastly, you can say if none of the conditions are true, you can include the else condition at the end, and you may include some default statement. So this block is executed when none of those conditions included in Elsif ladder are true. Then you have statement X block. So the same has been demonstrated Elsif ladder in pictorial form. You have condition 1. If this is true, directly execute statement 1 and come out of the if condition and go to statement X. If statement 1 is false, that is condition 1 is false, it will go to condition 2 and it will check. If condition 2 is true, statement 2 is executed and again it goes to statement X. If condition 2 is false, condition 3 is false, condition n, and lastly if none of the condition is true, we have else, that is default statements are executed and it goes to statement X. So this is about Elsif ladder. We are discussing this in brief because you have already studied all those things in C programming. Okay, next selection statement, it is switch statement. Now switch statement check the value of given variable or statement against a list of case values, and when the match is found, a statement block of that case is executed. So that is switch statement. Again, switch statement is very helpful when you want to test multiple conditions. So instead of Elsif ladder, which may be confusing sometimes, you may go for switch statements when you want to check multiple decisions or multiple conditions in the program. Now look at the syntax of switch statement. We have switch condition. So this condition may evaluate to some value and that value is checked against the case value. So inside the switch flower bracket open and flower bracket close, we have number of case values. So we have case, this is a keyword, then there has to be one space, and then the value represents any value. It may be integer, float, or character, or even string value. So this condition is, or conditional expression is evaluated and its result is compared against each case value. It is first compared with value 1. If it matches with value 1, then the statement block of case 1 is executed, and every case value block should be ended with a break statement. So you should include a break in every case, otherwise directly it goes to the next case and it will execute the next case. Okay, like this you can include any case inside the switch statement. And lastly, if none of the case matches the condition, then you can even have a default statement which will be executed. So we have a default block here, statement block default. This particular block is executed if none of the case values matches the condition. Okay, this is switch statement. Okay, we have a flow graph for switch statement. So the condition, and we have values. So if condition value matches with this block is executed and it will come out of the switch. and it will execute statement X. If condition value matches with value 2, block 2 is executed and it goes out of the switch statement. Like this, it will check for all the values, and if no match found, then it goes to default case and default block is executed. Then it goes to statement X. So this is how switch statement works. Okay, this is about selection statements in Java. I want you to write one more program here based on switch statement. I want you to print day in a week. So what you have to do is you have to read a value from a user, say value, an integer value needs to be read from a user, and if that value is equals to 1, you have to print Monday. If the value is 2, you have to print Tuesday. Like this, if a value is 7, you have to print Sunday. So this program you have to do by using switch statements. Okay, that's it for today's session. We will stop here. Thank you.